Hello, it is Annie from Any Other Kingdom, and today we are going to talk about how I design jewelry for bespoke clients. I've created a fictional client, and we're going to find out a little bit about her. We're going to look at her reference images, and we're going to talk about how the conversation goes and the process evolves into producing a collaborative piece of jewelry. I love making jewelry via this bespoke method. So creativity is elusive, right? And to be an artist is to struggle to find that creativity. And there is this moment of creativity that is, I can only liken it to what a psychic experiences. It's like a channeling where you don't even have to do any work. The ideas come, the vision comes, and like the thing is realized and it works and it's fantastic and feels amazing. But this experience of creativity is rare. I mean, it's only happened to me a few times in my life. And so constantly trying to be 100% like original and unique and pour my ideas and concepts into artwork or into jewelry, into design, over time it becomes very draining. Whereas this bespoke way of creating jewelry, working in a collaborative relationship with the client to make something that is a combination of what the client envisages and what you can do and what you want to challenge, how you want to challenge yourself artistically, is a great sort of meet in the middle for all the in-between times when I'm not necessarily feeling super creative. So let me tell you about our fictional client. The client today is called Shelley, and Shelley got in touch with me through email, and we've had a video call. She lives in London, so she wasn't able to come to my studio. I met her and her partner in the call. We chatted about what she wanted. She's looking for an engagement ring. She wants to be part of the design process because she wants to have a unique ring that she knows who made it and knows all the materials that went into it, and is looking for something a little bit different, a little bit quirky. So she'd seen my dream ring and the strawberry fields set on the internet. I think she'd seen them on Pinterest. So that's a good tick that Pinterest is doing well for me if clients are telling me that that's where they found me. During the initial conversation with a client, I want to discover 5 things. The first one being what metal they would like their jewelry in. Then if there are any significant colors, textures, or gemstones to them, I want to establish a timeline. When do you need it for? If I've got 8 months to work with, potentially the design can be a bit more ambitious than I've got time for it to go wrong than if, it needs to be done in 6 weeks kind of thing. I need to know their budget because, we do not want to create any unrealistic expectations at any point during this process. We want to underpromise and overdeliver. That is the golden standard. And then finally, we want a general gist of the ring or the piece of jewelry that they are interested in. So the gist of the style, and that becomes, for me, I'm a very visual person. If somebody tries to describe me like the thing, I need the image of the thing. So what I always tell my clients to do is to pop any of the images we've spoken about. Sometimes it can be images of them as a couple, things that they've done, if they have pets, the rings that they like or the rings that they don't like, and put them into a Pinterest board to share with me so that I can kind of reflect back again and again. Let's take a look at Shelley's Pinterest board that she sent me. She's got a few rings on there, but essentially we are working with a $3,000 budget, 9 karat gold, and she wants a pink stone. As you can see, the central stones are pink and the majority of the ring is pink, but there are other little stones. Taking all these things into consideration, when I am looking at the reference images, I can see that there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 designs that are all very congruous. Whereas we've got this Cladak ring, which is, sorry if I said that wrong, but it's very different to everything else. And also this Trois Moi is very different. What I find is clients tend to group together in larger quantities what they really like and what they are really looking for. So I will discount the two that I feel are different and take these five rings here and use them as a ground point. When I draw for clients, real clients, I tend to draw 4 to 5 images of different rings. And the gist of what I go for is something that is exactly what we've spoken about and most like everything that they expressed they wanted. Then I will show them something that is like exactly on budget, maybe a little bit under. Then I'll show them something that's over budget just to offer up a comparison of like what you can have and or what is available. Do you know what I mean? Then I will do something that is like vastly different, a little bit quirky, like seriously unique, and something really artistic that's got probably a lot more of me than of them in. And sometimes clients really like what they see in the first instance and they immediately pick a drawing to go ahead into production with. Other times, you know, it's a back and forth and we might have to do 3 different drawings just to be certain that the client's going to get exactly what they want. The next thing to do is to get your client's ring size if you're making a ring, obviously. If your client lives near you, get them in and check it yourself. If your client doesn't, send them to a local jeweler so that they can get their ring sized and you can be sure that it's right. When I'm designing a piece of jewelry, the video call is a really important, or the meeting in person is a really important part of the process for me. People give off these real subtle cues about who they are, what their style is like. It sort of carries in if they are sort of a maximalist or a minimalist, like these little qualities, whether they prefer something a little bit more discreet or they like want something a bit more sentimental. There's these cues that people give off about who they are. And I've always been quite good at reading people and being a people person and understanding what people mean between the lines. And unless they're like doing weird jokes, I don't get those. I'm not quick-witted enough for that. But these subtle personality cues translate into design cues and can help me direct the sort of direction of the ring. So yeah, meeting your client is so important. Sometimes I get people who, you know, are a bit nervous and they don't like talking on the FaceTime or the phone call. They don't want to do like a phone call or just even email. But these projects do take a lot longer. It's much better to. I've actually started putting everybody that I talk to on WhatsApp. Like I'll make especially I'm doing couples rings, I'll make a little group chat and we'll have a wedding group chat, and that seems to be really efficient. So I got myself an iPad a year and a half ago to help me do these bespoke projects because the drawing on the iPad just looks so much more efficient and clean and professional than if I did it by hand. I'm not very well practiced drawing by hand anymore. It's been years since I really have. Anyway, right, we are going to design this ring. So I've been thinking about the design in my head as I've been talking to the camera, and you know, from the reference images, what I really, really love is that pink and blue diamond dome ring. I love the pink and the blue. And I think, you know, this is the thing, the way the client was, the how she was dressed, all of these things, how her nails were done, all of this says to me that like that's classy enough for her. Taking something a bit like taking the ideas of that. So this is the ring that I have designed for Shelley. You know, when I'm designing this, I'm considering the budget. I'm considering the size. You see, I've got the dimensions drawn on the side of the drawing here and the dimensions of the little stones as well. So one for is a central morganite and two shouldering aquamarines. And then in a ombre of orange, red, yellow, and purple, these little stones sort of covering down the sides. Now, this is it's just a drawing, and there's all of the possibility that the client will come back and say, I hate this. There's not enough stones. There's too many stones. And, it's just, this is a starting point for the collaboration that's about to happen. But when I'm designing an engagement ring for a client, I always draw in the wedding band as well, whether they've asked me to consider it or not, because it might allow me to, keep the customer. And finding a new customer, creating a new lead is much harder, costs more money, more time, more power than retaining a customer that you've already got to come and buy from you. So here I've sort of copied the shape of the ring, and I really like these wedding bands that sort of drift down and mirror the shape of the engagement band above. And what I've gone for with the stones, because the client's a stony girl, is a blue aquamarine in the center and then two pink morganites, and then we'll copy out that ombre of sapphires down all the way down the sides of the band. All in all, this ring is going to be about 12 mil tall and then 4 mil for the wedding band. It becomes quite a decent amount of ring, and the client's hand is something to consider. So my ring finger is an M, and I've got quite big hands. So for me to fit on, a ring that is, or two rings that together combine in at 20 mil, I've got enough space on my hand to do that, but someone who is smaller and more daintier and petite than me wouldn't. So when you get your client's ring size, you have to consider sort of what size will fit on their hand. And again, these things will just come with time and learning. You can't be afraid to get things wrong, because getting things wrong is a great way of learning. Cheating is learning. Like, you cheat, you feel bad about it, you remember that thing forever because you cheated to learn it. I think that demonstrates the range of considerations I'm making when I'm designing jewelry for clients. And like I said, I would usually produce 4 to 5 different designs, and each one would be very unique. Actually, I can show you some of the previous. I hope you all learned something new. If you have any questions about the process, hit me up. And in the meantime, sign up to the Watering Hole. It's my new weekly newsletter containing a creative prompt or journal prompt to get you stepping inside and into your creative self. You got to nourish it. You've got to feed it. It's not just going to appear. See you soon.